Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lord Gord Podcast. This is your host, Lord Gord. I'm giving you information that's factually correct and politically incorrect. And baby, I'm hot just like you're loving. I need some loving. And and it's so hot tonight. I mean, it's burning. Draws, they burning. They on fire. This week, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite video games. Just an excellent piece of art and technology. The game Earthbound. Check that out. Known as Mother 2 in Japan. This cartridge is actually worth like more than $200 now. But this game Earthbound, Super Nintendo game, came out in 1995. I believe it came out as Mother 2 in 1994 in Japan. And in Japan, it was a huge game. Big blockbuster, sold a lot of copies, classic. But when it was released in America, there was a large advertising pitch for it. You know, they had a huge box that came with the game, and it came with a strategy guide with like scratch and sniff cards, and the tagline was "This game stinks," and the game bombed. It did not sell well out here. One, it was a role-playing game, and outside of Final Fantasy, those weren't really popular at the time. And also, most role-playing games were about, Dungeons and Dragons, magicians and mages, a lot of ancient stuff, mythology. And Earthbound is really what was at the time modern. You have kids on skateboards, you're fighting cult leaders and aliens and mob bosses, so on and so forth. So it was set in the real world, big cities, small towns, deserts, zombie-infested towns, and it didn't really resonate with Americans. So it became a cult classic. It became really popular among some dedicated fans. There's a website called starman.net, I believe, and it's like a whole Earthbound fan site. And how I found out about the game was through Super Smash Bros. Melee on GameCube. So as a juvenile, third, fourth grade, fifth grade, I had Nintendo GameCube and Super Smash Bros. Melee. And my favorite character's name was Ness. Now, Ness is a young boy. He's a protagonist of this game. He's about 13 years old. He has psychic powers. And one night, a meteor lands near his home, in his hometown, and he goes to investigate it. And this fly comes from the future. And this fly says that, Ness, you are the chosen one. You will fight the alien Gygus, and you will save the world from destruction. And you will have psychic powers. So the kid gets psychic powers. He ends up traveling around the world, recruiting 3 other protagonists to his cause. And he ends up, if you play the game, he ends up beating the main protagonist. But anyway, he was in Super Smash Bros. Melee, and I saw this guy, and I was just wondering, where did this guy come from? So in the game, you get these trophies, these collectible trophies, and you see various characters from this game, and it says, Ness is from the game called Earthbound. So I'm thinking to myself, what is Earthbound? So of course we have magical internet Google, and I Googled this game called Earthbound, and I found out about this game, and then I think to myself, I have to get a Super Nintendo so I can get Earthbound. So, what year was that? 2005? I turned 12 years old. So I went to the Roadium, got myself a Super Nintendo, looking for this Earthbound game at the Roadium and couldn't find it. So when I was in 6th grade, I went to a school called Audubon Middle School. Horrible school, full of future gang members, so on and so forth. And, I had some friends at Audubon. I'd tell them about this Earthbound game, how it's so cool and so great. And this guy had said, hey, man, I have that game. I'm like, are you serious? You have Earthbound? He's like, yeah, I have Earthbound. He said, I'll sell you the strategy guide for $10. So I buy the strategy guide first for $10. Now I'm just reading this thing voraciously, every day at school. I'm looking through it. Every night after school, I'm looking through it. And he says to me, oh, man, I sold my cousin's book. He's really mad. I'm going to have to get it back. And stupid me, you fool me once, shame on me. You fool me you fool me once, that's shame on you. You get me twice, that's shame on me. So I fall for this trick, and I give the book back that I paid for. And some of the people said, that was a bad move. It played me like a cheap fiddle. So the next time I'm talking about the Earthbound game, the same guy says, Gordon, I'll sell you the Earthbound game for $10. I'll sell you the game. And I'm thinking I'm getting a sweet deal because on eBay at the time the game was going for $50. Now it goes for like $250. And I buy the game for $10, and he tries to play the same trick on me. He says, Gordon, my cousin's really mad that I sold that game. Like, I wasn't supposed to sell this game. Can you give me the game back? And I'm like, oh no, I lost it. I don't have it anymore. So you didn't get me twice. I still have the Earthbound game. And I'm a big believer in private property rights. So I have my initials on it. Property, don't touch. Because I'm not a communist. You can't have my private property, buddy. Yeah, so when I played that game the first time, just this chemical reactions is going off in my brain. I mean, I'd read the strategy guide, so I knew exactly what was going to happen. You have to go to this town. You have to talk to this person. You have to get this item. And I'm just traveling to zombie towns, to the big city, fighting aliens, going to, the 8 sound stones. The game is incredible. I mean, you're fighting mobsters. You have to find valuable jewels so you can get the Runaway 5 out of bad contracts at the theater so they can keep moving. I mean, the game's really a masterpiece. A lot of quirky humor as well. A lot of people didn't understand the humor, but it's a very quirky game. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and the art style is very vibrant and colorful, and the music is phenomenal. I mean, it's right up my alley. I'm going to play 2 pieces that I like from the game. First piece I'm going to play is the theme of Forsyth. That's the big city. All right. The second theme that I'm gonna play is the Peaceful Rest Valley theme. It's got a very nice bass line. Check it out. Okay, some more stuff about Earthbound here. The developers were called HAL. What are they called? What are they called? HAL Laboratory? No, they're called Ape. They're called Ape Inc. Right? Ape Inc. ended up becoming Game Freak, and if you're literate in the video game world, Game Freak developed Pokemon. The game franchise that has sold a bunch of movies and hundreds of millions of video games throughout the past 20 years. And, a lot of the concepts you see about young kids traveling across the world, there are 8 sound stones that you have to find before Ness goes into the realm of Magicant and taps into his inner power. In Pokemon, there are 8 gym badges. So there's a lot of similarities between Earthbound and Pokemon. It's very understandable because the same people, the same group was working on it. So if you want to play Earthbound today, you either can get a Super Nintendo and get the cartridge. Cartridge is like $250, or you can get one of those mini Super Nintendos. I have one. You can play it on there, or if you have a Wii U or a 3DS, I believe you can get it on the little virtual console for like $8. So there's many ways to play it. I mean, you can watch walkthroughs online, but it's an incredible game. It's one of my favorite video game experiences. And every once in a while, I play through the game again. You know, traveling around the world, fighting those aliens and fighting those cricket people. You know, it always puts a smile on my face. I have a very soft spot for this video game. And a few times when I've been in rough patches, I've been thinking about selling the cart. You know, I need money in a pinch. But I'm just thinking to myself, you know, I'll never sell this cart. I mean, I have so much attachment to this video game, and I know if I sell the cart, even if I get another cart, this is my cart. I mean, we've been through so much together, and yeah, I can't give it up. But Earthbound really shaped my life in a very significant way. So, if you play video games, check it out. If you don't play video games, I mean, check out some of the stuff in the soundtrack. Check out some of the artwork. You know, a lot of they did clay work for like all the character models, and the clay work is just excellent art, great colors, so on and so forth. And that's about it for this week. So, share the podcast on iTunes, on YouTube, on Podbean. Subscribe if you like it. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a positive review. Get the Lord Gord Funk album, This Isn't TV, on iTunes, Google Play, Tidal, Spotify, so on and so forth. Watch the Lord Gord music video. Leave My Curl Alone on YouTube. Share it. Play it in your car. Play it around your little girlfriends or whatever. If you're in LA, come to the Blues Jam every Tuesday night at the Airliner in Lincoln Heights from 9 p.m. to midnight. It's 21 and over, free admission. Dollar taco, it's all good. Next week, I'm going to talk about my journey from left to right, how I went from a blue pill liberal to a red pill libertarian / conservative. I'm going to talk about some of my beliefs before making the transition, what initiated my transition, some of the key players and the key facts that really helped me change my mind and really go over to the right. So I think that's going to be a really interesting podcast. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Lord Gord. I'll talk to you next time.